I hope everybody is here. Okay, let me start by saying I think Kripadyuti started this event about quantum computing, and that made all of us realize there are a lot of things we don't know, and there are a lot of things which we can't understand. And this is all technology about. But today, the session we have is very insightful, something which all of us can connect to. And I can see that a lot of people are on phone, and nowadays it's a default source of wisdom for all of us. But let me tell you that the topic we are going to discuss today is something which you'll not find on the public domain. It's something which is very exclusive to people who have been in the boardroom. And it will be really insightful for all of us to hear their views about what's their experience in the board, how they're navigating technological initiatives in their industries and with their companies. Okay, so we already know our panelists. I'm not going to spend time in introducing them, and we'll try and keep it crisp and to the point so that we all can have your views. Let me start with the first question, which I'm sure most of you are quite keen to hear. So, in your view, Kripa, let me start with you. What are the board's top 3 priorities which are set out for CIOs?
Good evening. So, board's top 3 priorities, if I have to say, they discuss about ESG, because end of the day, contributing to the society. They certainly discuss about the purpose of doing business and how the KPIs, the financial KPIs are meeting that purpose. This is the second priority. And third priority, obviously AI, because they want to understand exactly how the disruption with AI relevant for our line of business, as well as how we can leverage adopting the AI in our business use cases. These are the top 3 priorities in our board. So that's that's always I've been asked for to respond.
Okay, Saurabh, if I may ask your views, are they same for you? Anything which you want to add?
No, I think I definitely agree with what Kripa said. These definitely are the priorities. But the trend that I'm seeing today is that there's a slight shift in the way the boards are expecting things from IT or the CIO. I think one of the trends that is coming out is the overall tech mindset of the organization, how the organization overall is seeing that, and how as a tech leader we can influence, inculcating that mindset in the organization. That's number one. Number 2 is definitely, we talked about ESG. I would add the compliance bit to it. I think that's becoming increasingly more important. And the third thing that I see that's happening is, the different ways of doing business. I think gradually boardrooms are realizing that the business paradigms are changing, and therefore, if we are ahead of the competition in doing business in a different way, leveraging technology. I think today every business understands, they might be in whatever business they are. They might be in steel, they might be in manufacturing, they might be in fashion, but at the end of the day, how they can be technology leveraged business. And in that, I would agree with what Kripa said. There is a very important role of AI, because that's really reshaping the way we do business. That's my 2 cents.
Well said, Saurabh. I mean, business models are now getting driven by technology. I think there was a good point in the last panel wherein people did come out saying that business is king. But at times what's happening is the boundaries are getting blurred, right? One is nudging other to change, and at times, there are new industries getting developed by new technological advances. To your point, Rishi, anything you want to add on this?
Yes, I just want to add one very critical thing right now the boards are doing right now. So see, what happened in our last board meeting, I'll tell you that was the business review committee happening, and there was a 30-minute discussion over the cyber security, and no one has expected this. The way they were coming with it, they're just coming that, are you doing the red teaming? So red teaming word itself coming from board is a surprise to us. So are you doing red teaming? Are you doing the VAPT? What is the VAPT report? You need to submit that VAPT report quarterly to us. What are you guys doing on that VAPT report? So now the things have been changed. It's not like that the traditional board meeting happening with the EBITDA and what is the revenue, what is the EBITDA, how the sales is going on. So this all is happening there. But in addition to that, there is a tech entry. And tech entry which is not only the cyber security. Apart from that, there are other things also. That how we are using, how we are leveraging the tech into our other functions like sales or procurement or supply chain. So these things are now being, you can say that discussed upon and monitored upon. It's not only that people are saying that you do it and that's fine. Now they are monitoring also. So this just a small addition on that.
Great. And Prakash, from a steel manufacturing process industry standpoint, do you think any of these priorities are getting changed from a board standpoint?
No, like Rishi mentioned about the cyber security, it's one of the core agenda. Apart from that, from the manufacturing, ESG is going on, but it's depend on the type of industry we are working and how the management is adopting the ESG. But one thing it's very critical from the meeting point of view is the digital transformations, automations of the all manual processes, how AI or maybe the new technology changes the automation and it will impact directly to your ROI. It's going to benefit your business, maybe transformation help you to innovate your product and services. So in nowadays, management involved on how the things is going to change because you have a lot of data from last 50 years, 60 years, but you are not doing anything. So their expectation is something new from the new business line, product line, service line and the transformation. So I think now system is going to change. It's not typical PM elections or business. They focus on the new things.
Fantastic. So I think in general, and the board's role is like that, corporate governance, giving strategic direction. So what we are seeing as per our panelists is clearly there is a focus on risk, which cyber addresses, the VAPD and other elements, which is just to make sure that your business disruption doesn't happen. At the same time, compliance is something we have been hearing for quite some time. But clearly here as well, I think ESG is a big agenda item. So from an ESG standpoint, any of you, what's the role of CIO? How do you do ESG? Because it's more of a business process perspective as well. But what are the, in any of your views, what are the areas? I know from a steel standpoint there will be more.
So take an example of ESG. Actually, it's not as a IT professional or as a CIO. It's practically from the society point of view, it's very important. So like if you take an example of most of the company, they are using AWS, they are using O365, they are using the SAP HANA. But nobody explained about the Microsoft, why mera ESG certificate though. We are using O365. So we are not directly using any servers. So maybe the Microsoft will provide the CO2 certificate, green certificate, AWS will provide the green certificate. So it's a small points which you start working. In the corporate office, basically ESG is not directly impacting the corporate office. It's basically plant level, it's very high. So but you can, as a company, you can start collecting all your carbon points, CO2 points from different portals. So how you build a system, solutions to collect these points to benefit your entire organization. So every organization doing these things on a ESG level.
Great. So I think without technology, ESG compliance, tracking and monitoring is
Very tough.
Yeah. Great. So another set of question is in this AI era, the digital KPIs which boards have been tracking or putting out as objectives for you have been changed. So any insights on what are the new digital KPIs which boards are expecting? Maybe start from you, Prakash.
So take for the digital KPI, first thanks to this panel, K is there, Kripa sir, P is there, Prakash, only I is missing. Okay, so R is there, so key performance metrics mein R is there but I is not there. So metrics, yeah. So from the KPI indicator point of view, we focus about how the technology is giving AI. If we are adopting AI, if we are making the data, like how your ROI is going to return, number one. Number two, using any technologies, what are the adaptation rate in your organization? So this is very key point, adaptation. Is your end user adapt that technology or not? So this is very critical. We are implementing lot of product, like take an example, people are using the SAP RISE. Can they really use the SAP RISE? So what are the KPI? They are using ECC like T code, same jet code and the reports. So what is the use? So what are the parameters? So we have to discuss on those areas, okay, how new technology, their adaptability is the core part of the KPI. In from our, basically in the corporate office.
Fantastic. Maybe you.
Just to add into that, what Prakash is saying, see, till time, still it is traditional, you can say that the requirement from IT or digital, whatever is there from the CIOs, that how the compatibility of this new tech is happening with your business process. So like your business process, if there is the sales, this is the supply chain, how you adapting the new technologies. Now coming, the same thing is now for the AI also. Now AI is in the picture. Right now what we have done as a group, that right now we have created our own GPT. So that the data should be within our reach. This area should not go outside our group. You know these days the security and the data privacy kind of thing. So all the data should remain on us. So now, initially we have started this with some of the users, that yes, you can start, you can adopt this GPT's kind of things, that is ABG Intellect. So now we have started using that. And with that, now suddenly you see the increase in requirement from the CXOs. Boss, now you have AI doing many of the things. How we can utilize into our manufacturing processes, mainly in the manufacturing. See, sales and all these things, we have our traditional analytical brains are there. You have Power BI, everything is doing like that. But in manufacturing, we are very much, the requirement is coming from there. And that needs are now coming from the CXOs, especially the CEO, MD. They are now very much straight because we want some use cases that, and basically see why this is coming, so that there should be, the efficiency should be going out. It should not like that we want to decrease our manpower or anything. We just want to increase our productivity. How the things can be delivered into a lesser time, right now it is being done. So these are the things which I can put in.
Great. Sir, if you want to add.
Let me make a statement here. I think AI is the new corporate drug. I think that's the way corporates are now clinging on to AI. And Kripa is here, he works a lot on that. My other two panelists, they are also working on this. And as Rishi said, there's an increasing way in which, I think it starts by when we are infusing a few use cases from our side, from the IT side, that this might be interesting for business. And then, once they get the flavor of it, then there is a exponentially increasing demand for AI. I'll give you an example, very simple case. I mean, today, let's talk about sales processes. I mean, there are a lot of salespeople on the ground, there are a lot of customer, distributor, retailer queries that they take, and they used to, have to call people, they'll have to find out some information. Now, once you build your own, internal AI-based engines that can, quickly come and they can do a query itself and they can, answer it. So, it's a very simple thing, but once we started doing it, there was a lot of efficiency that brought in inside the process. Then once we started with the simple things, then they looked at the larger things. So for example, in our industry, there's a huge spending on advertisements, right? And it's almost as, your overall ad spends might be very comparable to your bottom line. That's the quantum of expenditure we are talking about. So they want to today understand what is can an AI model tell me what's my advertisement efficiency? Or if I spend $1 here, vis-a-vis $1 there, where it will give me increased return? So that is how industries are thinking on to AI.
Great. So just talking about the digital KPIs after AI creating that buzz in the market, or rather creating so much in the market. So we are boards are talking about, I'm just taking a note from the last board meeting. So they are talking about strong net operating income. So net operating income can be very strong for a real estate business if we can utilize capital very smoothly. So for that, operational efficiency is very important. And board has instructed us for the KPIs to measure with AI how we can leverage, is there any days wastage on the throughput so that my capital sits idle, because real estate is a very capital dense industry. Second is high capitalization rate. It means when for a mall, I have invested and I have built shop for others. So I have to make sure that that capital has to be utilized very fast. Now, to do so, I have to do a market survey, and I have to position in the brand which actually look for that particular size and shape and in that particular location. So that's also AI and for that nurturing we have to deal with huge data. So AI can leverage us on that part. So I can identify what are my probable customers. Next, high occupancy rate. In similar terms, let's say I have a continued contract with a particular brand in my mall as a shop taker. So I have to make sure that his financial positions in the market, his positioning in the eastern part of the India, his product positioning, ahead of their saying no to us, we have to make sure that they are renewing the contract. So we have created an AI model. We have not created, rather we have taken an AI model and do some customization with the data, which identifies what are the probable score of retaining that store or resuming that contract based on the financial positions of the product positioning in the eastern market and all. And finally, days on the market. Whenever we launch any real estate product, any project, real estate project, so we have to make sure that my product after, because real estate is a capital intense, as I said, so we are building on borrowed amount. Some from the customer side as a advance payment on each milestone, and some from the bankers. So we have to make sure that whenever we launch a project, the occupancy rate is very high, so that my contribution from the customer side at least reaches more than 85%, so that I should not borrow that fund from the market. Make sure my EBITDA margin is high. And finally, in leasing in my mall, in the rental agreement, my leasing conversion rate should be very high, so that I should not waste any days with non-rent. So these are the major KPIs after AI started. So we all worked on that, and few are working, and it's giving a huge result, huge. So the predictability score that we do for our mall customers, so who is going to retain, extend the contract, is actually sales is very excited about it.
Fantastic. So just to summarize from an AI standpoint, and we are very fortunate that we have real estate, apparel, textiles as well as steel as representation. I think basis on the industry, board has kind of played smartly to get the maximum output from AI, be it customer facing, improving your capital efficiency, or be it in terms of optimizing your processes when there are more manufacturing getting involved. And in no way it is actually directing towards reduction in manpower. So that's one thing which is really important, that boards are looking at all the technology advances more from a strategic growth perspective, not to curtail costs here. Anything?
In fact, yeah, Maneesh, what I would like to also add, I think today we are seeing a lot of cross-industry AI applications, because in our boards we have independent directors and they are directors in other companies as well, so that cross-industry flavors come in. One example, traditionally credit card, credit checking has been a classic use case, where depending on certain factors, whether credit can be extended to a person or not, used to be done. today that same logic is being extended when we are looking at account receivables, when we are looking at the entire list of customers, and with AI the prediction comes that, you know, when can I expect and with which customer I can extend more credit, and where I need to be a little stringent on that. Because at the end of the day, it's not just the top line, but also the account receivable that the board has to manage. So, and there are many more examples of that. So I think that's where, you know, the things are going.
No, absolutely. I think when AI is evolving, it will make an impact on a function which can be cross-industry. And as more and more industries adopt AI, I think, you know, the power of AI will be basically nurtured across industries at the corporate level. And you're right, I think board here plays an important role because of their diverse industry background. They can bring in that outside-in perspective to help corporate. Great. So all optimistic about AI. I think all what we are seeing is the boards are looking at AI as a tool to enable strategic growth, increase the top line, not look at, you know, curtailing the bottom line. Okay. Now, a philosophical question, but for all of you, what do you think board can do more to enable CIOs to make future digital ready organizations? Anything they are not doing right now, and you can be anonymous here, just share from you know, from your experience. How can there be a better environment?
I think Kripadyuti is there, Sarkar is there, so they will reply more elaborately. But my thinking is that now board have to think, at least they give the chance CIO to become a CEO. So automatically all the things is going to change. So they have to think on that direction. Because business operations, technologies, compliance, everything know, nowadays CIO know everything from the tech side. So it's, now we are sitting here as a CIO forum, so maybe sometime in the CEO forum, lot of CIO will sit as a CEO. So I think this is the board have to think from that direction.
This calls for a big clear, I think it's for all of you. No, well said. I think technology insights are now going to become more strategic, which is the role of CEO. Absolutely. Rishi, your thoughts?
Just to add into that what Prakash is saying, that see, till date, still many of us, when we sit in the board meetings and all, we talk about tech. Still we need to talk about EBITDA and revenue. Then only you can get into the shoes of CEOs. P&L role are a little different on that part. You need to think on the business process, you need to think on that EBITDA, margin, how the products are being sold. So these things you need to talk about. And your tech intervention should talk like that. Your tech intervention should speak that what is your daily EBITDA, how the SBUs are performing, how the revenues are coming, by which SBUs, and by the intervention of digital technology, how you are getting the EBITDA, how you are increasing your EBITDA and revenue. So these things, if you do it, you will get it. Whatever the role you are telling, you will certainly get it. So I believe in this way. Sort of.
But that's more from what you can do. The question was what board can do more.
See, exactly. So board has to monitor all these things, and board has to also empower CIOs. So see, currently if there is any tech intervention, board say that please ask CIO or CTO to have to look after all these things. But in other way, board has to accompany all the CIOs in the discussion of your manufacturing projects. Like if you're building a new plant, or if you're commissioning a very heavy machines and all that, CIO has to be present in that discussion, because these days there are data, there are safety, there are interaction, there are integration between the machines and the software and the ERPs. So CIO has to play a role into that, and board has to give that liberty to all these technology people on that part.
I think I fully agree with Rishi and Prakash. Three things. When you say what more the board can do, I think three things. Number one, I think all boards and all promoters and all the top leadership comes with the expectation that with IT magic can happen. Sure it can, Sure, something goes right, you get a 5x, 10x return. But people have to realize that a lot of experimentation goes behind that. And maybe you try 10 things, one thing is successful, and that one thing gives you that kind of return. So it's not that everything you try will give you that return and things like that. Otherwise, you would not have failed POCs or abandoned POCs, for example. So board has to take that into consideration. Second thing is that technology is technology. It's not something. It's not something different from that. In the way that at times there can be certain things that can happen. For example, in terms of security, some small incident somewhere can happen and things like that. Till now, I think boards are kind of very scared, I would say, and the moment some incident comes up, howsoever small it is, they become overwhelmed. Yes, IT security, cyber security is very important, compliance is very important, something goes down, there is a direct impact not just on revenue but on corporate brand, and we want to ensure 100% uptime and everything, but board also has to realize that. And third thing, I think board expects CIOs to be CEOs. Rishi also talked about that. But the moment you say, give me some budget on something slightly beyond technology, then the discussion suddenly changes. So I think the time is very near, it's round the corner, where board will entrust CIOs with doing some things. I mean, in a lot of our IT projects, we kind of tend more beyond IT into a little bit of the business space, and that, and trust has to come. I think these are the three areas where the board.
Again, 3 points. First of all, the board has to ensure the mindset while adopting AI, which Saurav already touched upon. While adopting AI, so you have to shift from the factory mindset to laboratory mindset. In factory, we always deliver ROI, and in laboratory, we are always delivering success. So that's first mindset we are choosing or selecting AI projects. This is the first thing. Second thing is board has to empower CIOs with business units, among the business unit, so that the dominance of the business unit should not surpass the CIO's voice. So that's so I take it as a voice should be raised and noise should be discarded. And finally, there are in the board members also there are few like a shadow IT. There are few people are not very clear about the outcomes of AI while we are delivering it. So for them, board should clearly state that I use a शायरी दिल रखने के लिए AI मत करना, दिल पे रखने के लिए AI.
Great, and I was hoping this question will bring in some emotions. And I think if I can summarize, there is the way the world is moving and the extent of technology which is driving business. I think very soon we'll see a lot of natural progressions of CIOs to CEOs. At the same time, I think the panel brought in a very good point that CIOs have to be financially savvy because CEO's role is more to manage business stakeholders. And I think very good point even in terms of new technology adoption, and if I can just generalize instead of talking about AI, the factory to laboratory mindset, that's a very good example. I think we are expecting the board, as I call it from a CIO standpoint, to just look at success and not ROI on day one, because this success is going to bring you ROI in the long run. Great. Now, taking us on ourselves, what more CIOs can do proactively to engage the board better? I mean, it works both ways, right? So I just have to ask you this question.
So I have clear, for myself, I have stated few clear things. One, 3 short terms and 1 long term goal on AI and digital transformation. First, as a CIO also has to always fight with the conflict or rather resolve the conflict between innovations mindset and aspirational mindset to ROI driven mindset. Which I said, I mean, CFO also think about we have to move from factory to innovation, and similarly CIO also think about not always laboratory cannot run on a corporate, because end of the day we are fighting for the people. The first mindset. Second, for any AI project, select the AI projects for small in a short term. Select a small use case and deliver it so that the confidence at the board is going up. Because if you take a very large AI project and finally it took more than a year, then suddenly people lose interest on it and they actually consider that as a failure. So select a smaller business case, timeline should be not more than a quarter, and deliver it and move to the next one. And third, always select the AI projects where you have data in your country. Because end of the day, your AI model has to be trained or AI model has to run for the data that you have. If there is a data, but it is the control of the views and they are HODs are not giving up, or rather they do not have that structural data to give you whole use, then suddenly that creates a delay, unnecessary delay. Then suddenly your project will get delayed. So identify the projects, might be a very low-hanging fruit, but data does not lie in the IT team. Please do not get involved in that particular project. So these are the three short-term things, and for a long-term things, the vision has to be very categorically fixed that AI will going to be the way forward. So therefore, you convince your board, not the all HODs or all views. You need not to convince everybody in the organization about it, your plan. You share with your plan a long-term plan of 18 months, for 6 quarters to 8 quarters, and all your small PT project, which I said in a short term, identifiable business use case, has to fit into that long-term deliverables. If you are transforming the customer journey, identify the lead generation AI or how prospect can be converted, what is the probability of. So in the same line, you develop 4 small projects and finally contribute to the customer AI journey. So that's where you select. These are the strategy for myself.
I think if I just imagine one of a CIO IT head sitting in a board along with other people, I think there is a very different expectation from this technology person in the board. Number one, this person is expected to be the change agent. This person is expected to think differently. And this person is expected to bring differentiation to the business, which all the other people possibly are not doing. So what I mean by that is, number one, I think the moment we start talking in the board, maybe we talk a little too technical for the board to understand. See, everything said and done, they don't understand VAPT, they don't understand red teaming. Maybe in some other board meeting they have heard about it, they saw a report being presented to the CFO and they're just talking about it, right? Even if you ask them what is AI, what is BI, they don't understand the difference between AI and BI, right? But they want something that can positively impact the business. So, number one, what the CIO can do for the board, I think, one, talk less technical and more business. That would make sense for everyone. Number two, be the change agent. Think differently. Bring in new ideas which can, positively impact the business beyond the competition. Right? Third is the CIO has to make the board understand the power of data. Right? This is the big power that is there. With all the data that is there, in a lot of the organizations we are faced with the problem, data everywhere, not a drop to drink, right? But how we can leverage that data and give them some insights which can build differentiators for the business, which can propel that business in that industry, that is where the CIO can act at, right? Those are my 2 cents.
Great. This is a small addition into that, whatever Sharma and Kripa is telling. So see, the one thing is very clear on that CEOs want the business value from the tech. They don't interested in what the time we are saving, what the process we are changing. But at the end of the day, what are the business values we are creating with that thing? So that is very much required into that. The second thing is very much clear on that, that your tech enablement should speak business language. It should not like that, we are not understanding the business language, we are not talking about any business things, and we are just talking about tech, then it will not happen. Other than that, now the data, you know that now the new business is coming into the data part. So your data should be the decision makers. It should not like that the only data is coming there. So your decision should be influenced by that data, and that data needs to be presented in such a way that decisions can be taken immediately. So these things I think the CEO wants in addition to what Sharma and Kumar have spoken.
So I give all the three panelists. Basically, from the CIO point of view, we think convert the technology into business as a CIO. How technology is going to convert your business, like Kripadyuti mentioned. Apart from that, as a CIO, we have to work like a strategic partner with other functions. Based on them, we can build the things. So I think these are the two important things where we play the crucial role from the contribution to the organization from the AI point of view.
Great. So some valuable points for all of you. I think despite being a CIO, I think the focus is to, when you are communicating to the board, talk more in the language of business than technology. I think very good phrase, AI and BI at times becomes difficult to comprehend by the board. The other point is also that CIOs should be perceived in the board as change agents, which means the onus does not just talk on technology but connecting it overall with your business process, training, adoption, at the same time the business value it generates. These are few tips from our board which will help CIOs to get more board sponsorship, if I can call it. Great, I think that's what we had for us. Thank you everybody, and thanks panelists. I know some of you weathered tough traffic to come here, and glad you could all be on time. Thank you everyone for your time. Thanks a lot.